Because our rig is on the larger end of the spectrum, it's not uncommon for people to ask, how many people does that RV sleep? Well, we have a standard answer for that, which is drinks for 6, dinner for 4, sleeps 2. Now, when it comes to the dinner end of that equation, many RVs come with tables that aren't really big enough to seat 4 people, and that includes large motorhomes like ours. Now, when we ordered ours from the factory, it was no different. The table was really tight for 4 people. So we had our table reconstructed and enlarged so that it's one of the larger ones we've seen in any motorhome, comfortably seating 4 people for dinner. We also had some other woodwork done as well, and we're going to show you exactly how we did that. Now you can see all this beautiful maple here. Now, right after we ordered our RV, we visited my cousin, who happens to be a talented woodworker and cabinet maker. And when he came on board and saw all this beautiful Newmar wood, the first thing he said was, "What can I build for you?" Now, of course, RVs come with furniture already built into them, but then we realized, hey, our table is not as big as we would like. And the design of this table, which folds down underneath the buffet here, is similar to the original setup. We just maximized the area by a slight re-engineering. And my cousin took the framework and the leg that holds the table up and reused those, but built the whole thing out. Now you can see that this is 4 separate sections here. There's the outer sections of the table that always stay there, and these 2 leaves that go in between. The original sections were similar to this, but none of them were as wide or as long as these are now. The hinges were set further back than they are now, and the table was designed to snug completely down inside this recess down here. And what we realized was that there was no reason for it to go all the way back like that, that if the hinges were moved forward, it would allow us to do 2 things. One is it would move the table further out into the room just by itself. And the second is when the table swings down and closes, the edges of the table can now go flat against the side portions of the buffet here. They don't have to go in between. That means that the distance between the cabinet drawers and the side of the recess could be used. That gave us about an extra 2 inches on each side to widen the table from what it was. The other thing was that the slider tracks that were under the table extended farther than the leaves filled the space. So when we extended the table all the way out originally, there was room for both of the original leaves, plus about another 3 or 4 inches which wasn't being used. It was wasted. So what my cousin did was he remounted them under these new larger sections, and now when the table is pulled all the way out, these leaves really fill the space. And I'll show you what I mean by that. If I pull the table out, you'll see that there is almost no more room that could be used here. If these leaves were any larger, we wouldn't be able to get them out because of the metal connection points on the end here that line them up. Now, when we first saw this wood in my cousin's shop, it literally had bark on it. He planed it and smoothed it, sanded it, and turned it into the pieces that you see here. So I want to show you how this works when it's folded down, and you'll see how it maximizes the space. So this is the original track work from Newmar that was here. Again, just expanded out and maximized its usability. Now, when we close this, the leg folds up, and this closes down like so. And you can see it goes right to the floor here. It's only about a ½ an inch off the floor, and also goes right to the edge of the drawers and cabinetry here. So we've widened it. It used to be the old table filled in only to the inside edge, and this one uses all the space. There's no reason we had to have that recess down inside there, and now we have the largest table that can possibly fit into this space. So there was one small compromise we had to make to have a larger table, and that's this. It used to be that when the leg was down, the leg sat on the slide itself. And you could see now that it's out about 4 inches beyond the end of the slide. And all that means is that we have to fully collapse the table before we put the slide in. But we do that anyway when we're going to move. We don't want the table up, and we're going to collapse it anyhow, so we don't care. Not being satisfied with just making a table for us, my cousin asked what else he could do, and he created a cabinet for us that matches exactly all the other cabinetry in the RV. Not only was he able to make the finish and the profile exactly the same as all the other cabinetry in the RV, he even got a hold of the exact same piece of hardware. You literally can't tell that this didn't come directly from the Newmar factory, except we think it's even nicer. After our original visit in our then brand new RV over 13 years ago, my cousin moved and sold his shop and built an incredible new one. It's enormous compared to the old place, with equipment capable of manufacturing the most amazingly beautiful and intricate furniture and cabinetry. We recently visited again and were treated to having something totally new created for us. My cousin started by cutting a couple of maple boards, then planing them perfectly flat. Now he'll cut some cherry veneer to size. He rolls out some special glue and places the veneer onto the maple boards. Then they go onto the vacuum table, which sucks out all the air. They'll sit there until the glue dries, and out they come. A beautiful cherry over maple veneer. Now it's time to move over to the place where the magic happens, my cousin's incredible CNC machine. CNC stands for Computer Numerical Control, and it's one of the most amazing things we've ever seen. Perfect for us geeks. He measures the thickness, uploads our logo into the computer, and sets all of the required parameters. The first piece gets temporarily glued down to a backing board and clamped into place. The precise location, thickness, and other details are entered into the computer, and it runs a 3D simulation of what it's going to create. It picks up one of the bits it's going to use and does a test positioning run. Once everything's ready, my cousin gives the CNC the green light, and it's off and running. Operating autonomously, the machine does the work all by itself as we simply watch in awe. It knows the exact depth to cut to reveal the maple underneath the cherry veneer. It goes and grabs different bits as needed and completes the entire piece all by itself. Its attention to detail is incredible, slowly but surely cutting out the exact pattern of our logo. Once the design is complete, the final cut outlines the shape of the plaque itself, separating it from the rest of the wood. It leaves them attached by only a thin layer, which will get cut away in a minute. A little vacuuming and a quick inspection, and it's time to finish cutting it out. Some planing to remove the rough edges, followed by machine sanding and hand sanding with finer paper. And it's ready for the final inspection. The last step is to spray on a clear finish, which brings out the depth and differences between the two woods. We might be a little biased, but we think it's a work of art. We've given our beautiful new plaque a place of honor by displaying it in a prominent spot in our home. It's a great conversation piece, and it reminds us of time spent with family. It means a lot to have something so special made for us by one of our favorite people. Thank you, cousin. Even though this video is about making comfortable space for dinner guests, our awesome table can of course be used for entertaining at other times of the day too. Most recently, we hosted our friends Tom and Caitlin for breakfast while we were boondocking together in the desert. If you haven't already checked out their awesome channel and website, be sure to visit Morton's on the Move to see their excellent videos and blog posts. We'd also like to thank our patrons for supporting our videos. If you'd like to learn more about the special content we're creating, please visit our Patreon page to see what's happening. As always, safe travels, and thanks for watching.